Okay, on our language development, I came across this book by a lady professor, Manuri, in University of Colombo. I'm sure with this 38-page book, her aim is obviously we can understand she can't become millionaire with that. It's the passion with some experts that they want to contribute and they want to pass on, and that passion is kind of palpable if we can feel it in the book. And so I thought it's very good, interesting, and it's actually the manual for parents and teachers for their self-help for children, to help them in talking, and especially with those who have speech delay. Our children, the way they are being treated in schools, they are in stress and they have these problems to a great degree. So let's walk through this book quickly. It's an inspectional reading, but it gives us it's a good understanding on lots of things. Maybe you see are being validated, but when you interact with experts, books are also a way of interacting with experts, and we just have to hold for a while, and lots of our answers get answered, a lot of our questions, right? And this starts with like this. Introduction is very important part. Speech is a complex skill, very important to understand. Therefore, be patient. So this is one important. Professionals can only advise. They can't do your job. So we as an adults and teachers, primarily we have to learn. It's a very interesting lesson coming from an expert. Remember that baby begins to understand what is spoken, right? It's very important that children start their communication from non-verbal communication to verbal communication. And we unconsciously sometimes forget, but 93% research studies say, or you can say more than 90% of our communication is non-verbal. Children, babies, I mean, are totally at the non-verbal. They can't utter words. Now we have to help them in come to a verbal communication. So that's what it is about. It's important to understand. And sometimes they delay in the process, and professor is saying delay can occur for a variety of reasons. Hearing defects, sometimes autism or some problems in the brain, social isolation. So these problems can be. But what we should be aware of are the normal milestones. If we feel like our child is not getting up to the normal milestones, it's then that we seek an expert's help. The normal milestones in 18 months, it's an 8 to 10 words. Let's move forward. 2 years, about 2-word sentences. 3 years, 4 to 5-word sentences. 4 years, complete sentences. 5 years, intelligible sentences. So these milestones give us an understanding that how good our child is progressing. And these are guideline principles. We have to work on all their 5 senses, on sight, smell, sound, and social responsiveness. All of them together make these connections, right? Be calm and unhurried. Watch for small signs of progress. Appreciate a little progress made, right? Don't be discouraged. It's a longer process. And stop when the child is unwilling. This is very important, that find out those teachable moments. And your role is vital. That's important to understand. We can't just outsource all roles to professionals. And these are 7 points interesting for language development. 1, utility-based words. We have been saying these things, which are interesting to the child, or we can make that interesting to the child in play situations. Simple languages. We should use simple languages, right? Short sentences. And avoid baby language. Try to talk in correct, proper language so that the children mimic and learn that. Use repetition. It's very important. Attention is opposite to distraction, right? If there are distraction around, a TV is working, or there's a noise, if we can avoid, keep those distraction around, particularly when you want to interact with the child and want to pass on something. And don't talk too much. Give child a chance to come up, right? Don't rush up. Ask questions which prompt the child to make a longer response. Don't say any question, you want pencil or no? You said yes or no. No, give him choices. You would like to play with the pencil or with the teddy bear? So he might able to say pencil or a teddy bear. So questioning is a very important that we use this. Make talking easy, right? Be patient. Again, some do's and don'ts, very interesting. Child's attention. Children are always, their attention is fickling here and there. So you have to be careful. Sometimes give a running commentary of what you are doing around them. That helps them because it helps as a modeling for them, right? And join them in the tasks. That's why setting up your language center and putting things at their places involve children in that. And this is very important that let them use all sort of skills because they have more non-verbal skills, but don't encourage non-verbal skills. Sometimes children come to a lot of acting and they don't say words. So this should not be encouraged, prompt them to say words. And again, ask questions which are not just responded by yes and no, which force the child to utter some obvious answers. Those are useless questions. Don't ridicule them if they are saying incorrect words, right? Never. Just hold your patience. And if they already know a word like ball, it's time to expand their knowledge, extend that by saying, oh, let's throw the ball, right? And they learn through play. There is a special chapter on importance of play. And then it is sit facing child. So sitting at their level, that also helps in communication. If you are sitting up in the chair and the child is sitting down in the classroom setting, let's say, that doesn't help. You have to sit at their level and a child's eye level, because that facilitates communication, right? Talk slowly, pronounce clearly, make sure the child sees your lips. So all those orthographic way you have to communicate. We're saying ooze, so she looks at how you're making your mouth like rounded or etc. And take turns to talk. Analysis of speech is that we learn through dictionaries. Children don't learn new words through dictionaries. Children learn through play and interactions and hearing, right? Through play and other experience in and around. So that we have to be aware of. And use always identical same words for same thing. For example, bathroom, toilet, lavatory, ladies, gents. There are so many words, but don't confuse them. Use a consistent vocabulary with the children in the classroom or otherwise. Avoid baby language, right? And then it's very important. It goes a long way that give them a variety of things, names of people, objects, action words, some social words, some modifier, so that they have a vocabulary, but that vocabulary is spread out. It should not be only about eating and, for example, about their toys and dresses. It should be a little more, right? In all those areas around it. Importance of play is very important. One of our philosophy, PQRS, is validated that it develops self-confidence, it develops inquiring minds, because they start a little experimentation with the things, and they develop creativity. Play improves attention controls and social skills, interaction with the children. How to play: if you are playing with them, sit facing the child and come to their level for a good eye contact. It's all about communication. particularly when the listening which we want to encourage so that they talk. So play with sounds. Games are about sounds and imitating sounds, like sounds of different birds, sounds of different music animals. It's a thumping sound or it's a clinging sound, sounds coming from various directions, slow sound, low sound. Even if it's a clapping, it's like this, and the fast. So those sort of things. Vocal games, animals and bird sounds, so that they gradually get a nuanced understanding and sense of the sounds, right? And then some exercises. If the children have some muscular problems with in controlling their lips, obviously give them something which helps them control their lips, like bubbles, blowing out candles, or chewing sugarcane, or put some liquid honey on lollipops and licking. So these exercises are for struggler children. Use a whistle, puffing air, blowing balloon. So those sort of toys. And the books you can make yourself. Cut out small pages from piece of hardboard and paste some pictures on it, and you make a book. And if we have a drawing skills, that's even better. They will color that, and we will just draw for them. And teach words a bit louder, right? So that's very important. And we shouldn't be get bogged down that we don't have toys. Anything which is empty is a toy. Biscuit tins, drink cans. Schools should have a toy library. They have a lots of collection of things which teachers have access to and they can use for their activities. And this is sum up of all that. Teach songs and sit with the children and look at the pictures. So picture books are very important because you can play around them. And that's what it is. And it's a parent's job, spending some time, and of course on the children. Attention control is important. Obviously the attention control, children have a fickling and changing attention, and gradually at the 5th year actually their auditory and visual attention becomes a 2-channel, and they can work with you on a small tasks, even on independently. And that's the stage which is called the school ready stage. We have already discussed at some point in time. And again, the same for attention control. Sit with them, talk to them, repeat what you are saying, be patient, have consistent routines which they decipher. Now in this kind of a task we do like this, we read out story like this, we listen a story like this, so that they develop a habit and some sort of discipline also. So improve attention through play. Now you understand play, how many times the play comes, right? So that's very important. If you give them a small task like building up a small tower, so that process of building up the tower itself develops a little bit of a patience in them, and they have to do that, work on it consistently for 5, 10, 15 minutes to achieve the highest tower, let's say, or making a, let's say, any those sort of thing. Feeding problems, that's also she has written, but that's not one of our discussion point now. But very important lesson is this, that purpose of food is to provide pleasure as well as nutrition. That's very important, that all these activities are normally multi-purpose. So we should, for example, if we are serious about study, doesn't mean that we should omit the fun and enjoyment part of it. So this is a sort of wrap up. Children look and learn while listening. Even if they are listening, they are learning. Improve attention spans through activities where they have to make something, construct something, build something. Noisy toys and these sound create awareness. Children have problems, then blowing and licking exercises can improve those skills. Picture books, you can just sit with them, have pictures, start talking about it, ask questions. So we also discussed that actually reading starts with the picture books. And learning words through pictures, very important. Action songs play important, the meaning of words, because language is about talking. Don't forget, language and literacy are two different things. First, let's start with the language sense. There are some special situations, hearing defect sometimes, stuttering. Around the age of 2 or 3, the understanding of language is greater than the ability to express themselves. So they're understanding more, they're processing within themselves, but they still will take time to produce that. So that's why it's better to hold instead of getting worried or labeling the children or going too early into a anxiety state. No, right? Autistic children have problems. They misfire their cues. So this book sort of excludes that from its area, but it still says that we need to understand that a little bit more. Improving communication skill in the autistic children is often coupled with correcting social skills, right? So they have, because it's a broad, very broad thing, and there's a lots of different indicators on this, and each child is sort of different. So we have to play with the unusual toys. They have these sort of symptoms, but their intelligence is normal, but issue is that their controls and those things are a little totally unique or different, or they respond in a stereotypic way sometimes, some rigid patterns and all that. So for them, you have to find out from relevant experts how we can help. But school in that case becomes a difficult place for the children, because our schools particularly, they label too early even to the normal child, right? So that's what it is. And on the same thing, she had recommended if you can make a kind of milestone chart for your own child. Actually it should be for every child who is coming into the early learning center or in the school in the language development stage. It's very important that we know about each child. And I feel it's very interesting, and it's worth knowing these things, even if it's validating most of our stuff. What comes out very clearly is our role as a parents and teachers. We should know the milestones that we should observe for the children. The basic principle that we learn is play is really very important. And it starts with the listening and attention controls. It's very important. We normally switch too early on the reading and writing. No, it's not about it. It's about talking and listening. So these things have to be worked on. And two things to be avoided are fast forward. Never fast forward when it comes to a language. Otherwise, in any learning process, it's gradual and things percolate, take their time. And another thing, never become perfectionist, right? Child is saying something, for example, she says, this is a book, I put book pencil. Yeah, you correct. Oh, you put pencil in the book. Good, very good. So you model it and correct it, and sometimes you don't correct it if it's not the right time. Let the children flow with her thought and enjoy the fun. So these are two don'ts which are very important. And loud, repeated, and clear. We have discussed it in earlier as well. Be very clear with them in talking, and a little bit slow, and they should watch your movements. Be a bit louder with them, and talk to them when you know their attention is towards you. If she is busy in her toys, he will not listen, right? And be repeated always. So these are very important rules. And now you understand that play is such an important for social skills, for attention skills, for